Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 74 of the Attractions Group podcast. Alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig. Ryan, how was your New Year's Eve?
Don, I'm still shaking, and it's not from New Year's Eve, but that was the most energetic "Hello, everybody" you've ever given on the show, and I am so proud of you. New Year's Eve was great. I actually spent it at Kings Island. They do a New Year's Eve thing, so they have Winterfest from 4 until 10, and then from 10 until this year was midnight. It's been one other years, but they do the most high energy, awesome New Year's Eve event with a DJ and noisemakers and the stupid like top hat things that say Happy New Year on them, followed by a fantastic fireworks show at midnight. So I really enjoyed mine. What did you do for New Year's, Don?
Very uneventful. I'm not a big New Year's Eve type person, never have been. There were a number of years when I was working in professional hockey, there was always a game somewhere that we played on New Year's Eve. So never really got into, wanting to go out and do different type of things. So it was very, uneventful, like it's been for the last several years. Stayed at home, watched football, watched a couple movies, had some good food, good snacks, and just really relaxed and enjoyed the night.
Yeah, definitely. To each their own, really. I mean, I don't really like drink too much and stuff, so I'm not a big like let's go out and party kind of guy. But I definitely have the FOMO with New Year's Eve because it only comes like once a year. That's why I kind of dread my birthday too. It's
Yeah,
because I always feel like I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this because it's only once a year. But it's like it's just any other day, you know.
yeah, I ended up, going through a case of Mountain Dew Zero on New Year's Eve. So
Hey,
that was my
are
that's
you
what I drank on New Year's Eve.
are you off the diet Mountain Dew? Do you ever have that?
I've been doing the Mountain Dew Zero now for a couple years.
Mountain Dew is the most gross, disgusting insult to humanity ever. Mountain Dew Zero is just like Mountain Dew, which is delicious up until the sweetness is too much. But hats off to you for drinking the Zero stuff. I like Coke Zero personally, but I don't really.
I drank a lot of Coke Zero too, but
Mhm.
mostly the go-to right now is the Mountain Dew Zero, but a big fan of Coke Zero as well.
Yeah.
So, what do we got this week, Ryan?
Well, what we have to do is remind everybody to follow us on all your favorite podcast apps Apple, Google, Spotify. You know the drill. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button. Yeah, all this stuff that your little YouTube friends tell you to do. Do that for us too. But we're going to take a look back. 2023 was a huge year for Florida parks. So we're going to take a look back at the different news stories that kind of like rock the world or really significant to the industry in Florida in 2023. So, Don, why don't you start with the first one?
Well, we'll start with the breaking news in the Florida theme park scene back on May 18th. The Walt Disney Company, they shook the industry as they pulled the plug on Star Wars, Galactic Star Cruiser, and a planned $1 billion campus in Lake Nona. Factors included staff reductions, lower demand, and a back and forth with a state official. That played a role.
That was a roll, and it wasn't $7,000 for 2 nights. That was a roll. Yeah, so the experience was fantastic from all accounts, that it was just incredible, but I think that the problem was partially, who's this for? You know, it's your five-year-old kid that's into Star Wars, you're gonna spend that much money to put them on this thing? It's for rich nerds like me, and I never got to do it, but yeah, um but, it's there's been some setbacks, and that was clearly one of them. But let's start with some of the pluses. What are some of the cool things that happened?
At Epcot, the transformation continued with the debut of Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, Dreamer's Point, and the nighttime spectacular, Luminous, the Symphony of Us. Magic Kingdom embraced the futuristic Tron light cycle, Run roller coaster, and Disney's Hollywood Studios added the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue Restaurant in Toy Story Land. Did you eat there before, Ryan?
I
After day?
Yeah, Don, I actually got to do everything on that list. It was, yeah, well, the one thing that wasn't mentioned with Epcot was, the new area with the Walt statue, which is really cool. And I never got to talk about it on the episode where we talked about, the Christmas stuff, but it's got all sorts of lights in the trees and stuff that all match the design language of Spaceship Earth when it has its lights on. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. But anyway, moving on to SeaWorld Orlando, they made a splash with Pipeline, the Surf Coaster, uh, and the Coral Reef Center. Turd Kids Cove opened at Aquatica Water Park. Universal joined in with the fun with Minion Land, featuring Minion Cafe and Illumination Villain Con Minion Blast. You didn't get to do Villain Con, right?
I did not,
That's weird because it's a
but
shoot 'em up thing, but it's a moving sidewalk. It's kind of fun.
yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that. But the addition didn't stop there. Legoland, Florida, introduced Pirate River Quest. Busch Gardens, Tampa, added Serengeti Flyer, and Gatorland. You ever been to Gatorland, Ryan?
I have not, but I want to go so bad.
You got to go. It's. I mean, I'm a big alligator fan, so I loved it. But they unveiled the adventurous Croc Rock, Kennedy Space Center. We never talk about that much on this podcast, but the visitor complex debuted All Systems Are Go with a Peanuts puppet show.
I could talk all
So
day
much to
about
do in there
Kennedy.
that so much to do there that we never really get to talk about on this, let alone experience it when we're in Florida.
Have you been to the Kennedy Space Center?
I have years ago, but
Okay,
yeah,
did you go there when the shuttle was there?
yes, way back then,
The
yes.
shuttle thing is the coolest thing ever. My gosh. Okay. We'll talk about Kennedy Space on a different episode. So idea. And on International Drive, Lonely Dog Orlando, a 360-degree animated adventure, opened its doors, featuring 35 projectors for a unique visual experience. Put that on our list of things we haven't done yet too. I think that's really
Nope,
cool.
haven't done that. Now let's turn our attention to the enhanced attractions. Sometimes that's as big a deal as a new attraction. Notable among these was the Hatbox Ghost, moving into Haunted Mansion at the Magic Kingdom, and character additions in its A Small World.
I didn't know that they added characters to It's a Small World.
Yep, there were some additions there.
Oh, really? I'll have to look into that. I didn't know that they like ever did that. But the Hatbox Ghost I did get to see. That's actually really kind of cool. All right. So, Epcot's Flower and Garden Festival showcased new topiaries of Princess Tiana and characters from Encanto. Icon Park's wheel added the Great Florida Road Trip, blending the state history with an interactive game.
Next, we have Legoland, Florida continued its phased rehab of Miniland USA, and SeaWorld included a silent dance party in its summer festival schedule.
Silent dance parties are funny, like the silent discos. Anyway, so moving on to the extra extras, Orlando Science Center reimagined Orticon and introduced its first Spark STEM Fest. Universal experimented with Taste of Terror, a food-driven precursor for Halloween Horror Nights.
I like that Taste of Terror. That sounds like something I
I've
want to
seen that
do.
on YouTube, and the food looks really, really good. The Horror Night stuff is all done right, but that's maybe on my list for next year. I'm kind of want to do
Yeah, but
it.
Taste of Terror, that makes you want to try it, doesn't it?
Yeah, terror has to be delicious if you're the one causing it.
All right, Disneyland's Hollywood Studios presented another after-hours holiday option with Disney Jollywood Nights. Island H2O Water Park ramped up its calendar with family foam events, adult-only nights, and holiday nights featuring an elaborate lights display.
Yeah, you talk about working to make yourself relevant in the winter. That's pretty good because it's warm in Florida. Maybe not warm enough for a water park in December, so you do lights. All right. Titanic, the artifact exhibition on International Drive, got creative, offering a dress to impress tea time experience. I guess we can put that on the list of
Uh,
things we've never done before. I've actually driven past that several times.
yeah, driven past it, never stopped to experience
Hmm.
it. Maybe have to take a look at that. We need more time though. When we go, you and I normally take those shorter trips. We're there 3 or 4 days. We're not there on those, 7 to 10 day vacations anymore. So maybe we need to kind of take a look at that and just spend more
Hey,
quality time in Central
if you buy
Florida.
your annual passes that you've told me you're gonna buy, we'll make bro trips down there, and we'll nightlife in on iDrive and see some stupid tourist stuff.
I'll sell my son a piece of track to finance that annual pass.
Right.
Um, yeah. Now let's explore the creature features. Gatorland made headlines by nurturing a young gator without her top jaw, welcoming the birth of a rare. Uh, I can't really pronounce this word. Leucistic alligator, and adding baby Florida panthers. Baby Florida panthers.
Leucistic is how I pronounce it in my head, so I believe you're correct.
Cystic.
I have
Okay.
no idea.
Well, I want to make sure. I mean, some of these. I mean, there's a lot of big words in these Florida attractions, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah, they definitely challenge you. It's educational, like Epcot used to be. All right. So SeaWorld stepped in with the transfer of a manatee for medical attention, and earlier, three endangered small-tooth sawfish were born. Disney World had its share of new arrivals, including a Shetland pony. I was very careful by saying that, and a second generation elephant and twin ptarmigan monkeys. I actually got to do the Animal Kingdom exhibits, like the actual animal exhibits, one time this year, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like elephants, don't you?
Of course, no, they never forget.
That's right. Discovery Cove's flamingo chick named Maya and Orlando Science Center's exhibit titled Dogs added a touch of charm. Not to forget, Give Kids the World, one of our favorite places, the kids Give Kids the World Village. They loaned a Triceratops to Universal for placement outside its Jurassic themed tribute store.
Very cool. All right, shifting gears to the operating room policies, procedures, and processes continue to evolve. Disney World resumed sales of new annual passes. That's me. And Universal implemented photo recognition for identification at some locations. I did get to use that. I meant to talk about that in another episode. So they have you look at a thing and it scans you. The first time you do it, it's kind of a pain, but after that, it's like you scan and it's yeah. Okay, go. Good, good. It's actually pretty cool.
Moving on to SeaWorld, they adapted its extreme weather policy. Universal Parks and Resorts underwent a name change to Universal Destinations and Experiences, and the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex achieved certified autism center status.
Good for them.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of returns, a few old favorites made a comeback in 2023.
Well, SeaWorld Orlando brought back its Pearl Divers near Sky Tower. Tram service started running at Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and Pixar Place reopened at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, and the skies above Magic Kingdom once again lit up with the return of Happily Ever After.
But unfortunately, Ryan, it wasn't all about returns. We also bid farewell to some cherished attractions.
Yes, Don, can we take a moment of silence once again for the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser? Forget that. I don't even like Star Wars. Let's take a moment of silence for Poseidon's Fury at Islands of Adventure. I mean, come on. You got to experience that with me. It was me, you, and listener of the show, Dave. I'm not going to say your last name because I don't know if you want me to, and my girlfriend Erin. We got to experience that. I was so glad that she got to because you always know I don't want to say ride, but that walkthrough experiences days were numbered, and the day came very soon after we got to experience it. So I'm so glad that we got to. Um, and then Legoland Florida's Flying School Coaster, I actually got to ride that. That went away as well. And Busch Garden Tampa's Sand Serpent all saw their final days. So Sand Serpent was like a quintessential wild mouse. So not missing a lot there, but Busch Garden Tampa's got a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. So don't you
Yeah,
worry.
always sad when things go. Also, Kid Zone, including the Woody Woodpecker themed coaster, was boarded up and making way for a DreamWorks themed area at Universal Studios. Four nighttime spectaculars were snuffed out, including Cinematic Celebration at Universal Studios, Disney Enchantment at Magic Kingdom, and Harmonious and Epcot Forever at Epcot.
Yep, two Epcot shows. And then Luminous is good though. Um, yeah. Anyway, so notably, Splash Mountain is no longer making its rounds at Magic Kingdom. The ride's being transformed into Tiana's Bayou Adventure with a targeted opening date of late 2024.
And it's been a roller coaster of changes and additions in the theme park scene as we end 2023. And then, for you and I, Ryan, I can't wait to see what the future holds in 2024.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, 2024. We're getting real close to that Epic Universe opening. Yeah, end of this year, early next year. At the very least, by December, that'll be a full-fledged amusement park you can drive by and at least see, and that'll be really, really cool. So what a year for theme parks. We have to have 6 items per week for the Pick 6, so thank God a lot of this stuff happened.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned a lot of these different things, throughout the year in our, whatever, 50 episodes that we did. And, when you recap it just like this, I mean, you can tell there was a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely, Don. The magic continues to evolve and the story evolves, so stay tuned for more updates in the world of Florida theme parks. All right, Don, it's time for our listener question, and this one is coming into us from Toronto Ty. This one's probably directed to you. How many carousels have you personally been on, and which one is your favorite?
Carousels I've been on. Now, if you're counting the ones that are like in malls, down at the, you go to Nashville, Opry Mills, whatever that mall is called. If you're counting
Yeah.
carousels like that, I'm at 114. Um, Favorite, I'm going to have two things. Okay, there's a favorite and there's a best. My favorite would be the Grand Carousel at Kings Island. Grew up with it. My earliest childhood memories are riding the Grand Carousel at Cincinnati's Coney Island, and then, as it moved to Kings Island, I, continued to ride it. I made it a point to try to get at least one ride in on it every single time I visited as a guest. But the best carousel I've ever been on, it's at Knoebels.
So I don't know if this is a carousel or not to you, but I think Kings Islands is my favorite too. It's the most beautiful and ornate and that I've ever seen. But Cedar Downs is the most
Yeah,
fun carousel, I think. If that's a carousel, it's horses that go in a
I would.
circle.
I have it on my list of the ones that I've ridden. I can I count that as a carousel. Obviously, it's one of the more thrilling ones that are out there. That's a can't miss every time I go to Cedar Point.
Yeah, it's funny. I ride it with my friends, and I always like happen to win, and then I hold it against them for the rest of the day, and that's why I don't have a lot of friends anymore. Don, if there's a double decker carousel, and if you ride it on the bottom level and the top level, is that 2 credits? Because you're
We're
riding
gonna
at
have to
two.
do a story. We're gonna have to do a story just on credits. What's a credit? What's not a credit? Doesn't matter. All those kind of things. I know I've been working on a blog about that. Um, you know, it is two different experiences.
It's two.
When you
It's
look at it
two
that way. I mean,
altitudes about 12 feet
it
apart.
is. When I I rode the one at the Great America out in California. Great America. Outside Chicago, Six Flags Park. And I'm counting those on my list as one right now, but the argument could be made that it's two because it is two different experiences because of the, again, like you said, you're up a lot higher. It's a different ride experience up high than it is down
That's
low.
true. The air is thinner, so it's a lot more of a risk of passing out. They're
Get a different view from the top. Yeah, you get a different view
different
and
view.
all
You can
kinds of
find
things.
out that, like, your dad has a bald spot from up there. I mean, there's just a world of difference between the top and the bottom.
When we do an episode on credits, that's going to be an interesting one, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of feedback on that.
By feedback, you mean hate and disgust. No, I'm just kidding. Um, we should probably address certain things with, like, Twitter and see what people think, and we can give our opinions. Like, is this 2 credits? Like, if they like, with Son of Beast 2
Oh, we'll
credits?
do that for
I think we
sure.
should do that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
beforehand.
We'll do that for
But
sure.
anyway, yeah, great question. Yeah, we love carousels, but awesome, cool. Hey, stick around. We got the pick six coming up next.